show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Nerd Archive Podcast. And as always, we have Lola, Justin, Yadi, and Lewis. And you know what we're going to talk about today? You know what time it is. Hit it, Yadi.
This is the way.
Yep, that is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the episode 2 of The Mandalorian. Right on cue. Hell yeah. So, before we get started, we're going to start with the nerdy quote of the week. Justin.
That's right. Time once again to test your nerdy knowledge, folks. This is the nerdy quote of the week. So let's get straight into it. Scores as they stand right now are Lewis at 4, Lola at 6, Yadi at 3. This one is, of course, Star Wars themed. A little bit easier this week because, one person in particular is getting just a tiny bit frustrated. Yeah.
That's me. That's me.
You didn't have to out yourself on that one, but we'll go with it. All right. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny.
All right, we can rule out Yoda because that was a full sentence in the right order.
Well, I was going to say Yoda.
Repeat it one more time for the viewers.
Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny.
Once you go in the dark path, it will forever dominate your destiny. I'm gonna go
no
with
clue.
do what?
I have no clue.
I'm gonna go with Windu.
From
That's on episode 2.
okay.
No, episode 3. I'll take it back.
Okay. So Lewis says Mace from Revenge of the Sith.
Correct.
Lola.
No fucking clue. Genuinely, no fucking clue. Let's do Obi-Wan. I know that's wrong. It feels wrong in my bones. Yeah. Let's do Obi-Wan and let's do maybe to Luke, maybe to Anakin. I don't think it was Anakin.
Pick a movie.
Fuck. Just hold your horses. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go Obi-Wan and what the fuck is that movie when he's a Force ghost?
Star Wars movie.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Sure. Why not?
What's the second one of the prequels? Not the
Empire.
prequels.
The second one.
That one. Sure, that one.
All right. So Lola's is Obi-Wan from Empire. Yadi.
I legit was going to say Windu with the third episode movie. Return, is it?
Revenge of the Sith.
Right. I knew that one.
Is that your final answer? Can we beat
Final
that
answer. Let's go.
if we got it?
All right. So Mace from Revenge of the Sith. God damn it, guys.
He's so disappointed.
So fucking disappointed. Lola was the only one who got half of it right.
Ooh, what was the half? Right.
The quote, once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny, was stated by Master Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back.
I will have say Yoda too.
Oh, you did.
I did say Yoda at the
I
beginning.
think you
Yeah.
should give. I think that you should give Yari the 1 point because I kind of made him rethink his choice.
No, it's okay. We can just.
He needs a
Keep-
point.
He needs some milk.
Fine. I'll give that one to him. So he got a point for that, even
and
though
Lola
he
gets a point because she
and
said
Lola got
Empire.
a point for Empire. So
See, what made me think of Yoda was that second part of the quote.
Yeah,
he's-
right? It makes
yeah.
sense, but at the same time, my brother was right in a sense of like it's too it's too
It's a
well
long
put
sentence.
together of a sentence.
well, it's funny because it's not, his speech was way more exaggerated in that sense during the prequel trilogy and Clone Wars, where it wasn't as bad in Empire and Return of the Jedi. So it's like
Gotcha.
he spoke somewhat normal, but then they just kind of took that and turned it up to 11 in everything that came after that, which is just fucking weird.
Right. Okay. So we fucked up. I fucked up. Sorry, Yadi. You had it right. So, with that being said, that was the quote, the nerdy quote of the week with Justin. And now, for what I have been waiting for, always gonna reference Deadpool. The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 2. Great episode.
Dude, yes.
I have to say something. My theory became true. However, I thought
Part
it was
of it.
going to be later in the season. It was literally the episode after.
Right.
So
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing though. There's still plenty of episodes to go. And
Right.
so yeah, part of what you said was true. Bo-Katan did come and help Din out. And
Twice.
yes. So to start off, we are back in Tatooine. Yeah.
Tattoo.
Yes. We are
I was
back in
like, bitch,
Tatooine.
when?
Yeah. We're back in Tatooine. Din Djarin wants to get a droid. He comes back to get parts for the AG-11.
Yep.
The IG-11. And even the Jawas say, you're shit out of luck. We
Pretty
can't
much.
find that. And at that point, he knows he's screwed because if the Jawas can't find it, no one can find it. So here comes, what's her name? The mechanic, whatever. We're going
Yeah,
to call her
pretty
that.
much.
So here comes the mechanic and says, hey, I have a perfectly good droid for that. And the droid is, it's scared shitless.
Scared shitless and literally falling apart at the seams.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I got one that is perfect and it can go on trips with you and all terrain but in the same sentence, Din Djarin says something about where they're going and it's like, well, he's not gonna make it. It's like,
Kelly Moto. I think it's her.
what's her name?
Kelly Moto.
Peli Moto.
Yeah.
Okay, the mechanic. So
It is. It's just a strange name.
I
yeah,
agree.
Pelly.
Peli. The first thing we see when we see her is as soon as Din Djarin or Mando open the cabin, Grogu jumps out in happiness towards her. That was adorable. That was adorable. Great great words for a breakdown of an episode. Adorable.
Yeah, why not?
So she reinstalls the droid platform on his ship. That brought me back to seeing episode 1, seeing R2 going into the same ship with Anakin, baby Anakin.
Yep.
That was great, and obviously that was the purpose of that. What do you guys think?
Oh, no, that scene was great and funny as hell at the beginning when she's talking with that guy whose speeder is sitting there literally stripped of half its parts,
Yeah.
saying, hey, I'll get these parts, I'll have it done for you in like a couple of months. Oh, no, I can rush it for you, but you're gonna have to give me half up front. I had a feeling it was going to happen. You're going to see Jawas had something to do with it, and sure
Yeah.
enough, as soon as he's out of the building, here come the Jawas with the parts that they themselves stripped from this guy's fucking speeder. It was great.
It's just like, put it back together before he comes back.
Yeah,
Paint him,
right.
make sure that he doesn't know that they're the same parts.
Paint them a different color so they look
Yeah.
different.
She's
was-
a hustler.
Oh
She is.
yeah,
She
yep.
is.
Fantastic.
No, her character it's in a great addition, or not a great addition because she's been there since the beginning, but she's been a great part of the series.
Definitely.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
that
some
comic
comedic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I agree, and she's like you said, comedic relief. She's funny as hell.
Mhm.
But we see the droid in the ship, and now we move on to Mandalore. We get to Mandalore, and of course, Mando sends the droid first, and you can tell the droid's like not
Fuck
wanting to
this.
do this.
Oh,
He
he's
does not
scared
want to do this.
shitless.
Yeah, he does not want to do this. He's like, listen, you're an asshole for doing this. Like you're the one with the armor, and not only that, but he goes out, and poor Grogu he feels bad for the droid. He's worried. And Mando's like, no, look at the radar. You can see him on there. You can see him on there. All of a sudden disappears.
Yep.
And you can tell Grogu, he's like, oh fuck. So, but then here comes Mando and says, I'll just make my helmet, alter my helmet so I can go out there. It's like, why didn't
Oh,
you
yeah.
do that the first place? Why didn't
Pretty
you
much
both
he
go?
pressurizes it. But I
Right.
mean, it makes sense that way. But and that's the thing, though. It makes sense doing it that way first because you at least with the droid out there having taken readings of the atmosphere and that stuff, you know whether the air is breathable or not based on what you've seen so far and what's happened to the planet. So
But
just
also enemies.
that too, yeah. Because he gets attacked and all of a sudden there's a crack in his helmet or it gets knocked off and you don't have a breathable atmosphere, you're fucked.
If he gets a crack on his helmet, he needs to get a better builder.
Right.
Their armor.
You never
Yeah.
know.
So we get to see these monsters that
Mhm.
they look like straight out of, I don't know, a post-apocalyptic radioactive movie, which makes sense because that's what they think that
They
the
reminded me of Vane.
yeah. It reminds me of Fallout.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like the super mutants.
Yeah. So
Dressed the same too, just rags.
right.
Ha.
So I saw that and I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Actually, Mandalore is fucked. But then it comes out that they were there already. He didn't know because he didn't live there.
Before that point, he had never set foot on that planet.
Right. So it makes sense why he also thinks that they are a creation of what happened. But then Bo-Katan, when she shows up, she tells him, no, they've been here. They just live on the outskirts. So that It's obviously for a reason. They just want you to think that that's what it is. That
Mm.
it's a radioactive issue. But then he's able to kill them, the ones that he battled. He's still struggling with the Darksaber. He can barely pick it up,
Oh yeah.
which brings me to a point in a minute. He can't. So he just does what he needs to do. And when he's done, he comes back to get Grogu and then goes down to the basement, the mines. So when he's down there, there's these alligator things. Justin.
That whole scene with him against those three and him trying to wield the Darksaber, there's a point of contention there, and it cements the simple fact that, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about and where I'm going with this, because in the original trilogy, when you were hit with a lightsaber full force, this thing can fucking sever limbs. And yet when he stabbed that third one, it barely went into maybe 3 or 4 inches. That fucking blade should have gone all the way through him with absolutely no effort whatsoever. And it cements the point. And a lot of people have said this: Disney has no clue what they're doing as far as lightsabers are concerned.
Right. That's a good point. Or it could be the fact that he doesn't know how to use it, so he didn't use enough force to get it through. That's how
That's
Disney
what
can
I was
say.
thinking.
That's how
Because that
Disney can
scene,
say.
well, Bo-Katan fights with it momentarily, and she knows how to wield the saber.
That's
And
the point I was gonna bring.
yeah, and she does it like they did, and but also, and this is something that I've talked about before, in the sense of like the lightsaber fights in the last 3 movies, they were shit, but also they had no access to like actual Jedis apart from, you know, Luke Skywalker, but that was momentarily. It wasn't like a full on, you know, they were raised in the Jedi Order and, you know, got trained by all these different masters and so on and so forth. But Bo-Katan says it. She's like, I used to know quite a few Jedi. We've fought side by side at some point, and like that knowledge has been lost to history, but still we did. So she had access to watching the way they fight, the way they wield their lightsabers, and so on and so forth. So it makes sense to me why she can wield it the way she can, and why Mando can't.
Yes, and also the armorer explains that he struggles because he doesn't have the confidence.
He's
to
not
use
in the
it.
right. That's what I was going to say. He's like,
Yeah.
he's not in the right headspace. And so the saber is fighting him.
Yeah.
And another point to what Lola was talking about, that, you know, when it comes to lightsabers, like we've seen the same thing happen in just about everything that Disney has produced at this point where lightsabers are involved, like irrespective of training. You know, obviously the Darksaber being separate from that, where, you know, obviously if you're not like in the right headspace or anything like that, yeah, the Darksaber, you're not even going to be able to fucking lift it. But any other lightsaber you can pick up and you can wield and you can swing around with relative ease. And the way lightsabers function, you should be able to put that blade straight through any target you want without any effort whatsoever.
Right.
Including the Darksaber, I would think.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm with you with your point, and I think that both points are valid here. Lola.
Something else that I wanted to point out is when they show the Darksaber in the Rebels show, Kanan Jarrus is explaining to Sabine that it's not excuse me, it's not just about like mentality, but it's also about letting the force flow through you. And I don't think Mando knows much about the force apart from what's been explained to him from when Grogu was getting Jedi training. But that was again extremely brief. So I'm wondering if he had received some type of like you know, small like training sesh with somebody that knows about the force, if he would essentially fall into some sort of balance between mind and body, rather than him fighting himself and being unsure, and then the blade sensing that and being like, no, you can't wield me because you're unsure yourself.
Well, that being the case, then it still doesn't entirely explain how Bo-Katan is able to wield it as easily as she does.
Because she's sure, though. She's sure that she wants to unite her people rather than, fight. But then it's kind of a little bit different, I think, in my opinion, with Din. He's got a lot of he's got Baby Yoda, or not Baby Yoda, Grogu, but also he has the power, but doesn't know what to do with it, as seen from having the dark saber as long as he's had it and not doing anything to unite the people. He could rebuild Mandalore, but he hasn't. So, but if she had, kept the dark saber, she would have been on her way to the top in regards to forming a new Mandalore, I suppose.
If she had gotten it, properly, instead of having it just being handed to her, then I think a lot of things would have been different. And there's still one thing. I think there was, my mind kind of went back to it. Is like there was still this rumor going around that Din is potentially force sensitive. So maybe it could be, okay, he's force sensitive, but doesn't know entirely how to control it. And therefore, you know, with the not having that experience with the force, and then the Darksaber obviously responding to that by saying, okay, you don't have the type of control, plus your mental state isn't where it needs to be. So fuck you, you're not.
Essentially, it will also make sense as to why Grogu is so not what's it called, like he gravitates towards Din. It makes sense.
So I'm wondering, I'm actually kind of hoping they go somewhere with it. So it's definitely got me curious, because so that's another theory / rumor that could take some kind of shape in season 3, but who knows?
Yeah.
Well, we also have to think that the Darksaber, the first person to ever wield the Darksaber was Terra Vizsla. And Terra Vizsla was the first Mandalorian who was inducted into the Jedi Order. So he had some training to wield the Darksaber. So
He's the only Mandalorian ever to become a Jedi.
right. So with that being said,
For
we
now.
can safely assume that everyone that saw him or was under his command, or whoever took over, would have some kind of training from either him or someone close to him that knew his way. This is the way. That knew the way to wield this Darksaber. And everyone before him, except Mando. So there was some kind of training somewhere along the line that Mando did not get, obviously, for obvious reasons. So we have to see where this is going. Let's see if they rectify the fact that he is not able to slice through people like a normal Darksaber or lightsaber would do. Maybe they'll explain it. Oh, sorry, you can't do this yet because you haven't achieved that level. You need more points. I don't know, something like that.
It needs to be a good explanation, I think.
Agreed.
Hasn't been unlocked.
Nope. So moving on from the Darksaber real quick, or this scene, we go exploring with Mando and Grogu, and we get to see these little alligators in the sewer, which is great. I think it was more of a nod to the urban legend of alligators in the sewer in New York.
Could be.
And then we see Mando getting captured by this kind of tarantula looking android, not really robot.
Piloting a spider robot.
Right. So when he gets out, I got vibes of what's his name? General Grievous. He reminded me a lot of General Grievous. I thought he was just gonna run towards his Darksaber.
There's a similarity there. Like if you listen to his like the sounds that he makes, it's similar in that respect, only a lot higher pitch.
Right. Pause. When Mando gets out of his ship to go check on the droid, he pressurizes his helmet and becomes Darth Vader. Am I the only one that noticed that?
Yeah.
You can hear the breathing. Yeah. Play. Okay, going back. So I forgot about that, and that's one of the first things I noticed in the episode. I'm like, he became Darth Vader. Nice. So here comes Luke and cuts his arm off. I don't know. The point is that he gets captured and turned into a fucking rotisserie pig.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna
Yeah.
get an apple and put it in his mouth. I don't know what was gonna happen.
I thought the same thing. I literally thought that this guy was gonna turn him on a spit and freaking cook him.
Right. I thought he was gonna eat him. I'm like, oh, he's probably hungry. He
Yeah.
hasn't seen meat in a while. So Mando tells Grogu, you gotta go. You gotta go get help. Go to the ship. And he runs.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So he's running. He's a runner. He's a track star. I gotta say he
pressed
got-
turbo on that machine
Yeah.
too.
I'm like, damn. Go
Twin turbo.
Gru. So he does what he needs to do. He gets to the ship. One of the alligators catches up to him, almost by his ass off. And the droid's like, we gotta go.
Yeah, right. That little alligator was like, you thought
Yeah.
you were getting away from me? Bitch, I can fly.
Yeah. So now they go back to the last place in their GPS, in their GPS, which is back to Bo-Katan. What are the odds? So the thing is, when her droid tells her we have a visitor and she sees the ship, she's like, we got to get rid of him.
This
We're done with
motherfucker.
it. And we're done with this guy.
Let's
So-
finish him.
Yeah.
I
So
think she's playing hard to get.
I think so. I think so. But then when she goes to the ship after he lands, she sees Grogu and she's like, okay, I was just about to get rid of him and kill him, but now I'm worried about him.
Playing hard to get.
Yeah. So let's go. Right.
Yeah. They're touching tips.
They're fighting with lightsabers. So
Touching
now
hilts.
now we see, oh, she wanted to hold his hilt for sure.
Yeah.
So
Literally.
So she goes back to the planet. She knows exactly what's happening. So she goes down there and she shows us the skill of a Mandalorian. Things that she learned from the Jedi. Definitely. It was great. It was a great fighting scene with everybody, whatever. And then she goes and to find Mando, and he's almost in a barbecue, turning. And all of a sudden,
They
what?
stuck a tube in his neck and they were literally
Yep.
draining the fluids from him. So I
Yep.
think that explains a fair bit. So like that is how this little fucker gets his sustenance.
Right. But it makes me wonder who else was he eating, because no one else went to the to this.
Maybe
planet.
the super mutant looking dudes.
It's certainly possible. I
Right.
mean, not just that, but there were like piles and piles of Mandalorian helmets and armor
Right.
and things like that. So it's certainly possible that he could have caught some of the stragglers, or ones that had already died or recently deceased, things like that. So you could potentially still drain some kind of liquids and things out of the bodies.
Right.
Made some
Yeah.
jerky.
Also, use the whole body. You know
Mando
how you
jerky.
just said that? No, I don't like that. You know how you just said that? It kind of reminded you of Fallout. Now that I think about it, have you guys seen the Time Machine?
Yes.
Those little blue creatures from the future. That's what those guys remind me of.
That's a great movie, by the way.
Right? Also, Guy Pearce, amazing actor. That's all I wanted to say about that. Carry on.
Justin, you never seen the Time Machine?
Doesn't sound familiar, but I'll have to look it up.
The one in the hot tub?
No,
No.
before that.
I know
think
of Hot Tub
from
Time
the
Machine.
1920s. Based
I
in the
gotcha.
1920s or something along those lines.
I know of Hot Tub Time Machine. Never seen it. Probably won't. So
If we have a little
Fair.
time before we end this episode, we'll give you a little synopsis of the movie.
Hmm.
Because spoilers are ahead. So we find Bo-Katan fighting this machine-looking General Grievous doppelganger type of thing, and she grabs the dark
The
saber,
hilt.
the hilt.
Grabs his hilt.
Yep, and
she grabs one hilt.
Pedro Pascal's hilt.
She grabs
Shut
his
up.
dark saber.
Ah. Well, he is brown.
That's
So
my point.
yeah. So we see what you can actually do with this dark saber, and the PG version, Lola. Not the X-rated.
Never heard of
version.
it.
Dang, she got to hold one hilt. Now she's just got to get the other one.
Yep. Oh man, he's got to be grateful. With that being said, she destroys this General Grievous guy, and we think he's dead, and then he gets out and takes over the tarantula-looking robot, and she still destroys him.
Mhm.
They show her skills, which was fantastic.
Her Jedi-like.
No doubt.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you guys saw that like it was crazy? Finish off with because I don't remember what happened after that.
They
What?
found the actual mines.
How can I forget?
The most important part of the episode. I don't fucking know.
At the
but
end,
At the
Yeah.
very fucking end, it's
Yeah.
crazy. And she gives him a tour and an explanation of all this stuff on the way to it. And then as soon as they get in, she goes into like the latter part of the tour, and then he takes all of the extra crap off, and he's about to, redeem himself in the living waters. And she's looking on just like, this is so fucking pointless. Why are you even bothering? Blah, blah, blah. But that just shows like her attitude towards this whole thing, and how it's been like this entire time, whereas he's like 100% devoted to it because that's all he's ever known.
right?
And then all of a sudden you just see him just disappeared. He gets sucked into the water just like quick, and she's like, what the fuck? And then dives in after him.
She does not hesitate though.
Mhm.
No, she dove right in. Yeah, there we go.
What?
Sorry
And
for
these
those who
the
are.
guys from
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, the first one is the creatures from the Mandalorian. The second one are
Hmm.
the creatures from the Time Machine.
Oh yeah, there's some similarities there. Definitely. For those that are watching live, won't be able to see this. Maybe we'll put these on the
on Discord.
recorded episode or something
Or
like
that.
that. Or yeah, put them on the general chat of the Discord. That works too. So yeah, join the Discord if you haven't already. But yeah, getting back to it, like she jumps in and it basically winds up going all the way to the bottom, and you can see kind of something there. Like you can't really tell what it is, but there's something alive down there. But she passes it by without even, knowing what it is or even paying attention to, because she's focused on finding him, and she finds him at the bottom and she brings him back up. But as she's coming back up, she sees exactly what it is, and we see a live fucking mythosaur, and it, like, you could see the reaction and the air bubbles coming out as she's like, holy shit, basically. Like,
She's
and
staring
then,
at it like, I hope that
what
this
the
thing
hell am I
doesn't come
seeing?
after us.
Right. Well,
Like, if you
she's
stare at it, it
mesmerized
doesn't
at that
move.
point. Like, what the hell am I seeing what I think I'm seeing?
Right. I think she
And-
knew exactly what it was, but she couldn't believe it.
Right. And then they basically, like, they explode out of the water, and then it's just, they hit the ground, and she's just laying there just like, what the hell just happened? Like, it makes you wonder, like, what is this going to cause? Like, what is this going to change as far as her, like, everything that she's known, like everything that she's overlooked and scoffed at? And, is this going to cause her to change her tune? Is she going to rededicate herself to the way?
I hope so.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
This is the way.
There you
There
go.
you go.
To be fair, this is what I was thinking the whole time you were talking. That scene reminded me of when in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, when
Mm.
he jumps out of the lake,
Oh,
when he saved the girl.
yeah.
That's all I was
Right.
thinking. It's like, what was he saying when he went up with the one?
The French
Ascendia.
girl?
Huh?
Yeah. No, it wasn't Incendio. Incendio is for fire. But the
Ascendia.
French,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. The French
yeah.
girl, their little French girl.
Yeah. This is all I was thinking of when you guys were talking about it. Sorry. Go on.
I think that scene at the very end of this episode is going to change the dynamic, especially with her and, some of the other Mandalorians that, kind of abandon her and whatnot, because, it's not going to stay a secret for long.
Right.
If that's even the point or the intent. More and more are
that's
going to
also
find
the
out about this,
thing.
I think.
That's also the thing. She can send out a message for all the Mandalorian, hey, we can actually go back and live there.
Yep.
We can rebuild the city. And
take a selfie with the Darksaber.
yeah, look what I have. And then just give it back, and then if they ask, it's in my vault. Don't worry about it. So, and then every time she's gonna go, she's like, "Hey, Mando, can I borrow it for a second?" I don't know. and he's like, "No, this is the way." And
Yep.
This is the way.
Nice.
man, you're like,
This
Delayed.
yeah,
this basically, like, for Din, I think this basically just reaffirms what he's always believed in, and this is going to cement everything that
he was
that,
taught
that,
as a
that
child.
pretty much. So, like, you got to wonder, like, what's the armorer's reaction going to be when she finds all this out?
Right.
Because that's where they're headed next.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yes.
Do you
That
guys
theories
have?
are becoming true
Well, I know.
faster than we thought.
Is there
Well, it's
anything
leading
else?
it's leading to a lot of those theories being confirmed. We've had one confirmed thus far with Bo-Katan coming to help out Din, but everything else is leading towards, okay, this could very well go the way we think it's going to go, plus a lot of extra. Like, honestly, I don't think any of us saw this thing at the end showing up. Like, I certainly didn't expect that.
Right. No, I'm with you. So 2 theories. Bo-Katan will reach out to the other Mandalorians to repopulate Mandalore. And well, this is not a theory, it's more of a question. What is going to be the reaction of the armorer after she finds out? Because obviously he was in the water, so that means that he did what he needed to do
Yep.
to come back as a Mandalorian. So what is going to be her reaction?
See, what I'm thinking though is that you know how they during the whole Anakin, anything related with that, they're always talking about how like basically how like destinies essentially are cemented almost. This is like making itself to be because he took off his helmet. And then, in order to be able to be forgiven and being taken back into the Creed, he had to go to the waters of Mandalore. What are the fucking chances? And then there's the creature of the very first Force-sensitive Mandalorian that also wielded the dark saber.
No,
And then the dark saber came back as well. It's like it made it to Mandalore.
What do you say no about?
let me stop. I've got to stop you there. It wasn't the Legend of the Mythosaur wasn't about the first Force sensitive Mandalorian. It was the first. It was the very first. It was the very first one to take the title of Mandalore.
Okay.
Mandalore the Great, which is what Bo-Katan was talking about. So it was pretty much the one that established their entire religion, and it became the symbol of their people.
Right.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
But still, I meant more so in a way. Thank you for that.
Right.
I
No,
I thought I had them confused. I
got you.
But it's still setting itself up to be like, is he going to be the one leading then? Being that he's back into the Creed technically, because that's what she said that they had to do, and now he has a dark saber, and now he's bathing the waters, and now they know that this creature is there as well. So
another theory, I think he's going to be the one. It's gonna wind its way around, I think, but maybe within the next couple of episodes or by the end of this season, I think he's going to be the one to tame and ride that mythosaur that's down there. And he is eventually going to be able to get his mind right and get in the right headspace. So you will see him be able to wield that saber a lot better than he is now. A lot of that shit, I think, is going to come to a head towards the end of this season.
This is how it's going to go. He's going to ride the mythosaur. And the last scene of the episode in the last season, or in the last episode of this season, it's going to be him riding the mythosaur and lifting the dark saber. And there's going to be a shining light behind him, just like bright light. There's going to be a shining light right behind him, just like the hieroglyphic of Terra Vizsla with the darksaber, and that's how it's going to end. You heard it here first.
Din Djarin is going to become the next Mandalore, and that is going to cement once again the darksaber is the key to ruling the planet. Period. Because it wasn't always that way.
Right.
This is the way.
I was waiting for it.
There's no delay today. All right. You guys have anything else on this?
I wanted to see Grogu use the Force and grab that dark saber and do everything that Bo-Katan did himself.
That would have been cool.
That would have been awesome.
Maybe when he grows up.
Season.
Maybe when he grows up a bit more. Here's an interesting tidbit that I read that I wasn't aware of. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but there was a lot of people, I think, thought based on the difference between the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett that, only a few weeks had passed or so when Grogu had went off with Luke and then came back when they were on Tatooine fighting off that invasion with Boba Fett. But in reality, actually, what they're saying, and it was what the hell is his name? Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni actually confirmed that a 2-year time jump between the end of season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett when Grogu comes back had taken place. So he literally spent 2 years training with Luke before all that came about.
Yeah, that's why he's so much better now.
Right.
Mm.
And one thing that we didn't touch on was on the way out, Grogu to go find Bo-Katan, he uses the Force against one of those
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
creatures, and
And
that
he
was
can do
fantastic.
right, and he can do all that now without passing out from exhaustion.
Right.
So he's gotten a fair bit of training in that time. So it makes perfect sense.
Which is great. All right. So you heard it here. This was the breakdown of season 3, episode 2 of The Mandalorian. We're going to take a really, really quick break, and you're going to stay tuned. And when we come back, you're going to hear a trivia from Yadi. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back from break. I don't know what I was gonna. I didn't know where I was going with this. Welcome
Nerds
back.
don't words good, folks.
Nope. You just heard the breakdown for The Mandalorian season 3, episode 2, and now we're going to do our trivia with Yadi. Take it over, brother. Hell yeah!
Yay!
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna keep this trivia short, and it's gonna be, of course, about the Mandalorian. We're gonna go back and forth from season 1 and season 2, since we just want to give a reminder to people of what we're talking about. Maybe, I don't know.
Like it.
Let's start this off with something super easy, right? So in the first episode of The Mandalorian, Mando's mithril bounty mentioned trying to get home for which holiday? Freedom Day, Life Day, Durance Day, Colonial Day.
Durance Day?
Life's Day is it's the Wookiees.
I want to say Freedom's Day or Freedom Day or something like that.
Freedom Day.
Because when you said Durance Day, I know where that came from. So I'll say something about that as soon as you reveal the answer.
All right, so you all fail. It is Life Day. It
Okay.
looks like it's from it was a central part in the plot of the much malignant Star Wars holiday special in 1978.
Okay.
I remember that. I was born there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Eh,
And the funny thing is, like, when you said Durance Day, I'm like, that can't be right because that's from The Hobbit, and that's a big central point to The Hobbit, the film trilogy, because it's like, yeah, they got to get to the Lonely Mountain before Durin's day. Which
Uh,
is yeah.
That's
Re-
so funny.
really quick fun fact: if you want to hear an interview from Bruce Valanche, which is the writer for the Star Wars Holiday episode or special, go to the No New Friends podcast. They interviewed him, and it was a very, very interesting interview, and he is hilarious. So, yeah, go there and listen to them. The No New Friends podcast.
It was great.
.com.
Let's see if you guys know this one. I didn't remember this, so I don't know. Maybe you do. What is the name of the Mandalorian's ship? Ebonhawk, Rogue Shadow, Razor Crest, Slave
Razor Crest.
1.
The Razor Crest.
Best.
Alrighty. Let's see. So this is super random. I didn't remember this, but what creature does Mando learn to ride on Arvala 7? I don't know these names. Nogri, Zabrak, Blurg, Banta, or Bantha.
Well, they don't. They show the Banta in the book of Boba Fett, not in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, so he didn't. Yeah, he
I
didn't
think
ride
it's a
that. I don't
blurg.
think.
Can you repeat the names again?
Yes, please.
No.
I'm
I'm
gonna go with B.
B. Zabrak. I can say that one.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Let's go Zabrak.
Lola was right. She got it this
Blurg.
time.
Damn.
Quill teaches the Mandalorian how to ride it.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Actually, he does give off that vibe.
Speaking about Quill, am I saying that right? Quill? I don't care. What is Quill fond of saying? It is
Ooh.
finished. I have spoken.
Yeah,
So say we all. May the force be with you.
I have spoken.
I have spoken.
This
I
brought
have-
like a little flashback because I was like, I don't remember any of this, so
Mm.
it must be good.
Yeah. The
Every
urge to
time
go around works just saying that. I have
I-
spoken.
I gotta rewatch the first season because thinking about that when he was in it, it was cool. It was fun.
I
Yeah.
have spoken.
Mhm.
I have spoken. Quill reprograms IG-11 as a translation droid, assassin droid, nurse droid, astromech droid.
Nurse
Nurse
droid.
droid.
Nurse.
No, just kidding. But what is his like command?
To protect Grogu at all costs.
Pretty much. Yeah.
To nurse and protect. You missed that one by weight. I'm just kidding. Um,
Semantics.
What else does the armorer gives Mando? Toxic darts, Bacta fluid, jetpack, Mandalorian feather.
Is he
Uh,
building a wand?
Maybe it's gonna put it inside the black saber for later to make it lighter.
Ah,
See how everything connects.
full circle.
I mean, I want to say jetpack because he didn't have that in the beginning.
Correct.
Jetpack. No, I don't know what were you gonna say, Lola?
I have jetpack.
I forgot that you didn't answer. Sorry, you missed
That's
that.
fine.
There's not many other interesting things, so I'm gonna leave it like that.
Okay.
This were fun.
Perfect.
This is the fun one. So
Short and sweet.
What was that
Yes.
guy's? What was that guy's name? The I have spoken guy.
Quill,
Yeah.
Quill. I don't know.
Here's
do
an
you spell it?
interesting one. Who voiced him? Who played the voice?
Dave Filoni.
Was it John Leguizamo?
Nope.
Oh, he did the other one. I forgot.
Lola.
I
You
have
doing
Ah,
an
Lola
Master
did it.
clue.
Yeah,
did it?
Lola.
You got me. No, I have no fucking clue.
That was Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte.
Nick, of course.
I knew him.
Of course it was Nick.
I'm gonna Google him because I didn't know him.
Well, when I was going through all this, there was so many different characters that have come through just the first 2 seasons. It's seems like it's not a lot, but there's a lot that has happened.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
All right. You got anything else?
No, we're good.
Alrighty. That was trivia with Yachty. And really quick before we go anywhere, make sure you go on our social media. Everything is down below.
Click all the things.
There's a delay in this episode, apparently.
Yes.
A little bit.
All right. And make sure you go on our official website, thenerdarchive.com. And there's a couple of podcasts that we support, and you can find them on there, such as the Studio 21, the baseball podcast, the No New Friends podcast, Remy's Roundtable, Why So Serious podcast, Nerdy podcast, or what's it called? Why So Serious, a nerd podcast.
Yep.
That's what it is. And I don't think I'm missing anybody.
No, I think you're good.
I think I'm good. All right. With that being said, we are going to get the hell out of here. You guys are fantastic. Always remember to stay nerdy and be yourself. See you guys on the next week. Peace.
Bye.